Hello everyone and welcome back to a speed build, and we are doing the interior of a house that we built a couple of days ago, and I have been working on a ranch. So if you wonder what's going on, you have come to the interior side of the decoration of this particular build. So we've already done the nectar office, so that's all decorated, and we've done the stable walls and everything like that. So we did that when we did the exterior. So what I'm doing at the moment is just working on doors and windows, it looks like. Oh, a bit of outdoor furniture. So just finishing off the outdoor furniture out here. So a bit of the exterior still, but it is the decoration side of the exterior where you make things pretty. And I am continuing to use the, what is it? The Desert Luxe kit items, which is something I love that. I absolutely love that kit, but I don't use it enough because I quite often do the limited pack builds. I am not limiting myself in this build. It is no CC. I don't use CC for building, but yeah, it is all systems go on the packs. I am going crazy with using all sorts of different things. So I'm using like the Oasis. Is it the Oasis? I always forget the name of it. Is the Oasis something kit as well? Yeah. Anyhow, it is primarily going to be horse ranch because it is a horse ranch. So that makes sense to use the horse ranch building stuff. That's a bit of a no-brainer, but yeah, I am mixing it up with some different kinds of packs in there as well. So I'm getting the windows in there, and I am using the horse ranch windows for this one. Just having a bit of play around with how those are going to be positioned. And then we've got to work out the floor plan. So this originally was a shell challenge for the Obsessed Simmer. So if you haven't had a look on her channel, I have her pinned on my main channel page as a channel of interest. She's fantastic, a lot of fun to watch and follow, and she's an amazing builder as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does with her shell challenge. I'm showing her what I've done. You've got to show me what you did. Yeah, so just working on the floor plan and the stairs actually at the moment. I had a bit of trouble just deciding how I wanted the stairs to go and where I wanted them to sit, and they weren't just quite, I wanted them to like be back against that back wall, and they just weren't quite there, and I was like, gah. That's essentially what I was. I was like, gah. Instead, I built a weird, twisted maze of a bathroom. It's just going to be like a toilet and a basin. So upstairs we're going to have 2 bedrooms and a little lounge area and 2 en-suites. So that's all going in there. And then downstairs we're going to have a 3rd bedroom and the kitchen dining lounge. So pretty straightforward. And there is a 4th bedroom over in, well, sort of, it's a 4th bed and it's in a room over in the nectar office as well. So it's like a little sleeping kind of nook thing. So I'm putting some archways on those little sticky outfits, but I don't know if I'm going to use those at this stage. I just sort of put them there as an idea for something that I can maybe do, but we'll see whether or not I do anything with them later. And I am using a mix of the horse ranch lighting as well as just the base game little small lights for small little places, and also the base game, the horse ranch flooring there, and actually just using base game tiles for the bathroom, but using, you know how in the right before horse ranch dropped, they did a whole lot of base game updates with some of the like tile swatches and floor swatches and stuff like that. So I'm using one of the new floor swatches that we got with the base game update in the bathrooms. There's actually some really nice choices with those new base game flooring, that sort of thing. I actually had a struggle with that window. If you're wondering what was going on, it actually wasn't going square. Like I was trying to use the small square window for the bathroom, but I was selecting it and it was like a smaller version of those wider windows there. It was kind of like really weird. Like, yeah, because I have got that particular window like elsewhere in the build. So I just like was really confused. I was like, why isn't it actually changing to a square? It's still a rectangle. I didn't want a rectangle, I wanted a square, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I just kept what I originally had. I was like, oh, Sims, what are you doing to me? Okay, so we're starting to place the items. So I'm using a lot of the horse ranch items on the inside of the build, and I used the Growing Together a mirror there just to mix it in, and I've decided to go with a dark brown furniture is what I've decided with in terms of colouring. So I'll use dark brown furniture, I think, for the most part throughout the build, and then I'll mix it up with other little colours along the way. But I think I talked a bit about it when I was doing the exterior of the build, that I did think about doing like pops of blue as a contrast colour. So that is something that I do pull through inside the house as well. So there's not so much blue on the outside of the house, just little bits of it maybe, but on the inside, blue is going to be my feature colour, as you'll see as we get going throughout this build. And I'm using the horse ranch beds. I do like the cute horse ranch beds with like the different patterns and stuff for the kids. I think those are really cute. I actually really like the adult ones as well. I like the colours and the designs and stuff with them, but I just don't like that they are pretty terrible as far as the energy regain goes for actually just using them as a functional item. They're meh, basically. As an aesthetic item, great. As a functional item, meh. So that's Velvet's review of the horse ranch beds. So just getting some decorations on the wall for the kids' room, and I decided to go with like a plainer wall and then just popping in like decals and posters and that sort of thing just to brighten the wall up. And I think that works really nicely for the kids, particularly when there's like such a limitation on kids' wallpaper choices. So yeah, and I decided to put like a little fuzzy bear on the end of the bed because it's cute. I don't know if it would still be functional, but I did test it out. I did want to put a desk in there, but it just wasn't on the cards. It just, because I used that big wide door, it's kind of like, that's not going to fit. I could have changed the door, but I didn't want to, so I just put a lamp in the corner instead. And I do like those curtains. I love how they sort of loop over. I mean, probably not practical from, if you were actually living in a house with those sorts of curtains, it'd be kind of, I don't know, I could see it being kind of irritating, but they look pretty, and that's what I'm into when I'm doing this building with the Sims. So I'm just doing like the little clothes hanger thing that came with Horse Ranch. So just getting some clothes on there, some shoes, and some shirts as well. So that's just, instead of using a dresser, I decided to do like the hanging thing. And if somebody can tell me what the hanging thing is called, I mean, that would be fantastic. Oh dear. And then this is the room that goes off the kids' room. So I actually didn't put a toilet in there because I just wanted it to be really just a bath for them. It's just like their little bathing area. And there's going to be other toilets around the house for them to use. So it's more just kind of convenient for the parents, at bedtime they're getting the kids ready for bed and they're giving them a nice bath. And so they just pop off to the bath on the side of the bedroom, and done. Oh, it's just a little bit confusing at the moment because there's another bathroom off to the side of that little living area I'm building at the moment, and there was a toilet there. I was like, hang on. But no, because the bathroom I just built for the kids is on the other side, so and I really like this little upstairs living area that I made. It's all quite cozy, and it's going to be like a little family area. I put like knitting stuff in there so that you can sit there and have a knit on a cool winter's evening or something like that, and just have some family time. So yeah, I thought it was kind of quite homey looking, this little living area. And I just updating the bathroom. That is the ensuite for the main bedroom, the master bedroom. And you do need to go upstairs through the master bedroom to get to the living area and the kids' room. So them's the breaks. It's just kind of the way it worked out, unfortunately. It was just the way it worked out. Just had to do it. So just getting some accessories in there, just deciding what I wanted to put on the back of the wall above the above the toilet, and then I finally settled on just doing a shelf with some nicks and nacks on there. Nicks and nacks, hair dry, you know, useful things that you can use in a bathroom. And just getting some towels in there as well. And I think that's about it for the bathroom. Oh, and we're going to need a rug. So just keeping that quite neutral in terms of colours for the main master bedroom ensuite there. And I actually ended up splitting, as you can see, the room into two. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to have a big walk-in sort of comfy wardrobe. So I thought that would be quite cool to have that there. And I'm using the new base game swatch that came with came out just before Horse Ranch in the green. So I actually, as it stood, this was one of my favourite wallpapers in base game. And then they added more swatches, and I was so happy because I often use like the blue version of this, and I think there's a grey version as well. And those were quite regular choices for me when I'm doing base game builds, which I do quite regularly, by the way. If you like base game builds, check out my base game build playlist. There's quite a few in there, and I've got quite a lot up in the gallery as well. And I am VelvettB on the gallery, and this will be up on the gallery for download too, so you can go and find that there. So I'm just adjusting the room, and I went with green because I thought that green actually matched the bed quite nicely, and coordinating that with the light brown too. And I'm using these gorgeous curtains, and I can never find like the curtain mount things that go with them. Yeah, they're hard to find. Anyhow, I worked it out, and so I've got those going up on the wall, and then I will be working on getting some more furnishing into the room. There's actually not a heap of room in here, but I did manage to fit in like a nice cute little desk there in that corner, and I used the Book Nook kit stuff to build like a little library bit just going on the door there, so I thought that was quite cute. Not too much else to go into this bedroom. We've got to get. Oh, I really like this Horse Ranch quilt wall hanging that we got. I thought that was really cool because I mean I think I've said it before, but I love anything with like lots of different designs. So something like that is just perfect for me because, you know, you can have like one picture, but there's like, you know, 8 or whatever different designs on it. So, you know, that's fantastic. So I'm just working on a walk-in wardrobe now. So I'm using again the Horse Ranch stuff. So just clicking those bits and pieces together and just having a look at what I want to do with windows. But I think see there's those square windows that I couldn't get working earlier. So they started working again. I don't know what's going on. Oh boy. So yeah, just changing the windows around a little bit and adding in some more of the hanging units for the clothes. That is the same sort of thing that I did in the kids' room, and obviously we've got some beautiful Horse Ranch mirrors in there, and I think I'm going to put some seating in there too. Oh, and the shoes. So we've got shoe racks and little ottomans to sit on, a little ottoman and a chair to sit on as well. So I think that's like quite a pretty little addition to the room. And that brings us back downstairs. So I am working on the ensuite of the downstairs bedroom at the moment, and I went with the triangle bath. It's actually got quite a large bathroom. That particular room is on an angle, so yeah, a 2-wide bathroom is actually wider because it's on the diagonal. I was just trying to fluff around and see how I was going to fill the bathroom actually, because it ended up being a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I had like quite a lot of space that I needed to fill in this bathroom, but I got there. It's always easier to fill space than you know, find space that you don't have. Just kept it pretty simple. Yeah, trying to work out what I wanted to do with the blinds was a challenge. But I think I just went pretty basic in the end and just went with black. And because I was looking at the different browns and stuff, and they just weren't quite working. But the black kind of worked with the tub, so I thought that's kind of cool. And I went with a big mirror on the wall, so that actually ended up being a good filler for that side of the wall. And bits and pieces of towels. I'll change that that big towel around to something smaller, less clunky. And there we go. And then moving on to the downstairs bedroom, so the third bedroom downstairs. And I actually ended up really liking how this came out, just something a little bit different. Just a couple of pops of colour in there that I thought worked really nicely together. So I'm going to actually change the colour of the bed that I have there at the moment, but you'll see that when I get to that, because I was just sort of working out what I wanted to do with the rugs, and you know how that was all gonna tie in with the colour palette of the room. And this is one of my favourite of all the rugs. I love that rug. It's a pretty rug. I can't remember which. It came with a stuff pack, but I can't remember which one. Maybe the fancy. It's like a fancy one. I don't know. It's been so long since I've looked at stuff packs in detail because they came out so long ago and they haven't brought out any more. And it is a shame because I love stuff packs. But we have kits now instead, so I've got to move on to the modern times of kits rather than stuff packs. So I did a feature wall behind this, behind the wardrobe. I'm just going to play around with different things, but I'm going to end up going with plain because everything was quite busy otherwise. I didn't mind the confetti wallpaper, but yeah, the plain actually looked better, so I went with that. And you can sort of see I've got the bedspread there that we're going to use. And it has like that apricot coming through it, sort of the orangey apricot. So you'll see me tie that into the room here with the couch. So I thought that was actually quite a neat little colour, just to bring in something a little bit different into the colour palette, and still keeping with the pops of blue that we've got through the rest of the house, but adding in the orange was just a nice little extra touch that I actually quite liked. So I thought I'd point it out while I was talking about that room. Oh, and I put like that horse ranch ottoman at the end of the bed too, so because I felt like the end of the bed needed something, and I'd already put a couch into the room, so I thought, well, what about an ottoman? And then I remembered that there was a horse ranch ottoman, and I was like, oh, perfect, that can match the bed, and ta-da, done. So I'm just dealing with the little narrow bathroom at the moment, which is just like a little guest bathroom where you can go to the toilet. That's essentially all it is. There's not much room there for anything else to go in there, just a bit twisty-turny. And then we have the living room. So I went with the horse ranch couches. As I said, I went with a lot of the horse ranch stuff, but there's like little bits and pieces here and there from all the different packs. So I went with, again, the dark brown, because that was sort of the colour theme of the furniture that I'm using. And that, I thought it worked quite well with the different tones and the woods on the wall and the floor, and then going with the darker tone for the furniture. And I was left trying to work out what I wanted to do under this TV, because I kind of wanted something under there, otherwise it kind of felt like a big lot of empty floor. So Home Decorator came into play there. Thank you very much, Home Decorator. Even though the colour of the wood is like a bit different from the other woods, it wasn't so different that I was like, I hate it. So yeah, so I just made like a little entertainment unit under there and just put some bits and pieces, plants and clutter and stuff in there. And then that's done. So I kept it pretty simple in the living area. I'm going to add like a few more chairs in there, and I think maybe some bookshelves or shelves or something in there too. But yeah, I didn't put too much in the lounge. It's kind of the family area, and I thought, that's the kind of place that is going to be lived in, but you're not going to be having lots of stuff because it's more a combined area, if that makes sense. So just putting some like a hall table there, and a little end table as well with a lamp. And that's, I can't remember what pack that came with. I want to say Get Together, but I could be wrong. That little hall table. And then so I had this big corner and this big space to deal with. So I did something a little bit odd with, I think, the corner. So we'll see what I do with that. But then I did a gaming table there with the horse ranch chairs, and I think that actually ended up looking really cool. I like those the pattern on those chairs. I think that's actually really quite neat, and it just added like an extra texture to the room, which I think it needed. So I think that's cool. So I'm just working out what I want to do with this wall. I was looking at the different shelving options, but there was nothing that really stood out to me as being a thing. I was thinking about doing like another lot of shelving with home decorating, but then I saw this this hall table and I was like, oh no, actually, you know what, that's gonna do the trick nicely. So I just put in some plants and a picture, I think either a picture or a mirror, no, a picture, and some decorations. So, yeah, that picture actually is lovely. I love it. So then we have this corner. So I was thinking about initially doing the home decorator, you know, the connectable unit thing, and then I was looking at the corner seating, but I was struggling a bit with the colours. And then I did something that I don't often do, and I went to the Star Wars pack. So yeah, we went with that sort of booth. I know it's like a bit of an interesting choice, but it kind of made me think of a diner, and I thought that kind of worked with the horse ranch kind of vibe. And then I used this beautiful rug underneath. I love this rug so much. I love the colours on it and the tones, and yeah, I think it's a gorgeous rug. So I don't know, you may disagree with me on the choice of that particular seat in the corner. I thought that one was probably going to be probably going to be quite a controversial choice as going for that that seating. So it's going to be something that people will either like or hate, I think. I don't know. I was quite on the fence about that that choice, but when I looked at it, I thought, no, you know what, I actually like this, so I'm going to go for it. So yeah. That was the one thing in the house where I was like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like that one or not, but yeah, I did, so that's what I did. So yeah. So we're just working on the kitchen now, and I went with the as I kept it up with the rest of the house with the dark wood for the kitchen counters, and just using the horse ranch counters there. And then because I didn't have like heaps of space for dining, I actually decided to do just the little 2-seater tables, but do like 2 lots of them, so there was like enough seating for everyone. And I mean, you've got the kitchen counters as well, and yeah, so I just got around the whole table issue as well from there. And I did end up getting rid of those little nooks. I couldn't think of anything to do with them. I was like, well, I can just put some shelving and some knickknacks on there, but you know, I don't think that really added to the build at all. There wasn't anything that I could think of that would actually be better than a blank wall. And actually what I came up with to put on the walls instead ended up being better than what I could have put inside those little nooks. So yeah, I was actually quite delighted by what I came up with for those walls, but you'll see that in a minute. And as you'll see there, I ended up using more of a teal shade in the kitchen. So yeah, I really like that. And what you can see me building here is a kitchen cabinet using the hanging cabinets from the horse ranch pack. And I was really happy with how that turned out. So I actually I'll do a little short video on those, I think. And then I started looking at the colour. I was like, oh no, that's too light. But then I looked at the colours on the counters, and anyway, it's just me changing the colours around, getting confused. So I am just getting some clutter in now. So I'm going through and searching through and finding clutter, and then I'm going to zoom it around. So you can actually put some clutter on top of those little cabinets that I've built using the horse ranch stuff. So that's quite handy as well. You can make it look like, you know, used and nice and lived in and that sort of thing. I was going to do 2 fruit bowls, but I thought that's too much fruit. What are you doing, Velvet? Too much fruit. I mean, you know, there's quite a narrow space for stuff on that little cabinet. So I mean, there's not a lot of, probably not, you're not going to fit everything on there that you might in a normal kitchen clutter, but I think you can put some really nice bits and pieces on there. So I think I'm just about scrolled through my clutter section, so I'll just put that into the kitchen, and that'll be just about the kitchen done, I think. But yeah, I was really happy with those cabinets. I thought they were a good addition, and obviously because they're horse ranch, they fit so perfectly with the rest of the vibe of the kitchen. So yay. Alrighty, so that's my clutter starting to go in there. So just using the VB Move Objects on cheat. I always use the VB Move Objects cheat for all builds, because building without it is just so hard. Because you just want to, you get used to building a certain way, and it's really hard to break the habit of not having that thing. So not having Move Objects on is an actual challenge for me, because I'm just so used to building with it and having the advantage of flexibility with placement of items. So doing something like this with your bits and pieces is nice. It's nice being able to move those things. Oh, just putting the Snowy Escape bin in there because it's my favourite bin, and it's I think maybe one of the few bins that's actually in a wood texture. So it kind of fit the house more. And just like that, we're done. Let's have a look at what we did. So wow, I think that came together really nicely with the stones around the paths. I think that worked out really nicely, and I love that front porch with the little blue seating on there, and we've got our pond around the front there too with the duckies on it. I'm doing this tour and build mode, so you can't actually see the duckies at the moment, but they are there. Well, I mean, you can sort of see them, they're just squares. So it's a lovely seating area there. Then you've got your nectar garden, and going through you can see the other side of the pond there, and the back side of the house. So we've got the porches round the top, and then round the back, and then the hot spring round in that corner, which I think is going to be great for tired muscles at the end of the day of working on the ranch. So the stable has 3 stalls, which should all be functional. You just got to make sure with setting up stables that they have enough room. Like they should have 1 grid space on either end of the bed. The sides don't matter so much, but the ends do matter, I've noticed. Hot tip from Velvet there. I've noticed that from building. So having another closer look at our horse stable area. So we've got the bulls and the stable and the jumps and that sort of thing, and then round to the pool in the back area, which I think is quite lovely, and the back balcony there, which has a southwestern kind of theme to it. That was the idea behind it anyway. And all the lovely furniture there, so you can have a beautiful afternoon once you've got all your jobs done around the place. And yeah, I really like how this turned out. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I think it's lovely. It's a good entry, I think, for the shell challenge. If I hadn't broken the rules. Oh well, too bad. I did it anyway. So going through to the kitchen, so you can see our pops of teal there and all our dark furniture. And I think having the lighter walls and the lighter floor actually helped it not feel too dark and heavy. But I think it's definitely got a ranch feel to it, which I think is lovely. Sort of that more countryside. And I think that's why I went with the cottage living tables in there, because I thought that sort of had that that country vibe. And then going through to the living area, so the potentially controversial little booth seating there, going through to the gaming table with those cool cow pattern seats on the back, and then into the living area with the TV. And I really like that rug. That's from Get Famous, and also the TV's from Get Famous as well. It's the biggest TV in the game, so it's a big TV. And then going through to the downstairs bedroom, which is, I think, it's got that southwestern feel, I think, to it, with the bed, and then you've got the pops of orange coming through in the couch and the bedspread as well, and it's got an easel in there, so you can make some money in that. And then going upstairs to the master bedroom, and this one's going more for the softer greens rather than the blues, but I think it's sort of like a sort of tonally in the same sort of area-ish. I think I get away with it. I think it's a lovely room, and plenty of books for reading and a computer, and then that's the lounge area. I'm going to come back to that. Going through to the kids' room, so there's a few toys, and it's just a nice little set-up room. And we've got a night light and some decals on the wall and stuff like that. Access to the balcony outside, and then this is our cozy little living room for crafting. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to leave me a like and a subscribe if you're not already. Catch you in the next one. Bye!